All right, welcome to part 2 of my 3-minute Monday morning monologue. Like I said, this week is going to be 3 parts because it's I'm doing this thing where I'm giving these things now 3 word titles. This one's called Up Until Now, and it's my story of how I ended up in the situation I'm in now, which is at 54, starting a career in filmmaking. So this part is when I first moved to LA and how I tried to start a career in filmmaking back then. This is 20 years ago. It kind of ends right around the time my son turns a year old, and that plays a big factor into what happens. So basically, I moved to LA in '99. I decided I'm not going to be an actor anymore, even though I moved to LA to be an actor. But pretty quickly after I got here, I was like, I'm done with that. But I still wanted to be in film. I wanted to make independent films. I wanted to write and direct films. And I got into editing because I figured that was a good way to kind of understand how that world worked. I came from the theater, didn't really understand film so much. I understood stories, acting, but not film. So I learned editing, which ended up being a career for me for quite a while. So I get into editing. I do make a short film based on Chekhov's Seagull, with the intention of turning it into a broader film, like a feature film based on that play, which never materialized. But I made that film. I also made a educational project based on Shakespeare's Macbeth that was designed to work in like high school libraries, high school literature classes. That was the idea with that. But again, you see how these great classic writers, Shakespeare and Chekhov, were still influencing me when I got into making films, when I first got into making films. But then I decided I needed to make a real film, something big. So I had, luckily because of my editing career, been able to buy a house. The value had skyrocketed because early 2000s Southern California real estate was out of control. So I take out a second mortgage, put all the money in, pretty much all of it, into making this short film. So I had high production value, shot on film. I really went for it on this. And then I submitted to a bunch of festivals and I did really well. I won some awards, got some recognition. I'm thinking, okay, this is it. I'm going to be a filmmaker now. So I kind of pitched my wife on the idea that I want to quit my job as an editor. I was working in a post house at this point, and go pursue this full time. But she brings me back to the reality that we have a 1-year-old son, and we had sold that house, so we didn't own a house. We weren't living in the best neighborhood. We needed to get our son into a good neighborhood, good school district. And she was right. So I didn't quit my job. I kept at it at post, and I basically kind of walked away from making films for a bit. I didn't give it up completely, and we'll talk in part 3 how I got going again and how I got to where I am now.